Okay.
Alright. Recording.
Recording.
Press. Okay, I'll start. Alright, we're good.
Okay. Hello, my name is Kyle O'Keefe, and I will be your mediator today. I have been mediating for 5 years now. I'm a neutral third party, and I'm here today to work through this conflict so that we can come to an agreement that satisfies both parties. First, I'd like to ask, are both parties here voluntarily?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Everything that we talk about in this mediation will be confidential. It will not leave this room, so please feel comfortable expressing your feelings about this issue. If at any time during the mediation you guys have questions or concerns, please feel free to ask me. Also during this mediation, there will be an opportunity for a caucus. Caucus is an opportunity for me to speak with the parties one-on-one so that we can discuss any issues that you guys have with how things are going. Anything said in the caucus will remain confidential and unless I have permission to disclose it to the other party. There's a bathroom outside around the corner, and there's refreshments next to the bathroom. I'd like to take a moment to set any rules that we would like to put in place.
How about we don't interrupt each other?
Don't interrupt, let each one get their thoughts out before anyone speaks.
Okay,
So I agree to that.
no interruption.
How about nobody yells, like we're in a small room here?
Yeah,
Yeah, no yelling,
okay, appropriate language.
appropriate language.
Appropriate language is an important one.
So no interruption, no yelling, and keep the language appropriate. Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Alright,
Take each other seriously. No, don't like snicker at somebody else's.
yeah, this is an important issue.
Professionalism.
Yeah.
Professionalism, there we go. We're here to come to an agreement that will result in both you guys being happy. So the more professional we are, the better that will be. So then at this time, I would like to hear an opening statement from Mrs. Elizabeth,
Yes.
who is bringing this case to the table.
Okay. So earlier in October 4th, like 2013, my child was inside one of your wrestling outfits and it wasn't properly fitted or supervised. And because of that, she had her head hit against the ground multiple times, and this has caused brain damage, and I'm wanting compensation for the payment for the brain damage, for the emotional damages, and for the issues that could be in the future, and the fact that she has an inability to communicate properly, and she expresses childlike behavior and anxiety issues now. And I am wishing for up to $800,000 in compensation. Oh shoot, that was
Sorry. 800,000 for the medical costs?
yes.
Okay.
And for the emotional issues and for therapy, I would like $2 million more for the damages and future issues that may come up with the family and other things that may happen.
Okay. And then, do you have an opening statement?
First of all, I'd like to say we are sorry for what your daughter has gone through. Secondly, since this was held at a school on Spirit Day, I do not feel that we are fully responsible for it. I feel that the teachers should have also been more aware if it was properly fitted or not. So I don't feel that all the blame should be put on us. I think 2 million is a little steep, because the school should be involved as well, as I just stated. And hopefully we can come to a conclusion without us having to go to court.
Okay, thank you guys. Now, at this time, I'd like to set an agenda for the mediation so we can kind of organize these issues and handle them one at a time. So, this board, the first issue that you, oh, thank you. The first issue that you brought up was the medical expenses.
Yes.
So. And there was $800,000 in
Yes.
medical expenses. Okay.
And 2 million for future and emotional damages and
Okay. Okay, so I have the emotional damages and future medical expenses.
yes.
Okay, so this were 2 million
Yeah.
for between them
Yeah.
or for both?
$2 million altogether, or
2 million for both.
Okay. As in,
4,800,000.
okay. Okay, is there an issue that you guys would like to start with?
I would also like to mention that the company needs to improve their safety alongside that.
Okay.
You could try one.
Okay. So these are the issues that we're gonna try to deal with today. Is there one that you guys would like to begin with?
I think company safety, I think
Yes.
I think we do the money at last.
Yeah, safety, get the easier one, I feel, out of the way.
Okay. So then, let's start with that. Is there any suggestions or something that you would like to be seen?
Well, right now, I'm just worried because this happened to my daughter because the suit was properly outfitted. And you say that your attendant has 10 years of experience and that you've never had a problem with the equipment before. So this was clearly a malfunction in the equipment that your attendant didn't notice. I feel because if it's been safe every other situation, then it's something, and if your attendant's this experienced, it's something that he should have noticed quickly if he was paying proper attention. So I feel that the process needs to be better screened or just safer suits, or I don't know, I would have to hear from you what you could do.
Well, in a way, I do think that Kaleda, is that how you pronounce it?
Let's go with
What's your daughter's name?
What's her daughter's name? Kaleda?
Kaleda. Yeah, Kaleda.
We're gonna call it Kaleda.
Okay, or Saleda.
Let's go with Kaleda.
Okay, Kaleda was, or if she was improperly fitted, I do believe, we do as a company believe that she should have said something to us about it. It's not like she's 5 years old and she's completely capable of knowing how something feels on her. Do you understand what I'm saying there?
I understand, but when you consider it's she's not the person who's an expert of knowing if it's expertly fitted. Even though she feels that it may have felt like safe enough or tight enough on her, that's not like it's different for everything you wear, pretty much.
But when we do say, I'm sorry, go ahead. I first broke the.
Oh no, that's fine. It's just when someone like when you're wearing certain things, you may think it's like tight, but it's not actually tight enough. Like I feel as though it's the job of the expert to determine if it's good enough or not.
But at the same time, would you also agree that if she goes somewhere, at the first question that is always asked is that tight enough or is that comfortable? Would you agree with that?
Yes, but was that question even asked to her? I don't know.
So if, let's just say, per se, she said that she felt comfortable and she felt it was tight enough. That should not be our problem because this is the first time it's happened out of however many million times we've done it.
All right, so what I'm hearing from this side is that you feel as though if there was something wrong with the way that it fit, that she should have spoken up.
Correct, because she's, ninth grade is 15 years old?
Yeah.
So 15-year-old knows if something's wrong or not when they put it on.
Okay, and
So therefore she should be able to say, hey, this doesn't feel right. Or I don't feel like it's tight enough.
okay, and you are worried that she wasn't aware of how it should have felt, or
She was not have been aware of how it properly should have fit,
Okay.
because it's not every day people jump into one of these things.
No, absolutely, I agree.
Okay, so it sounds like you both understand where each side is coming from. So is there some sort of, I don't know if you'd say extra screening or more, I guess like more, I don't know, the experts are more aware of exactly.
Well, I guess in a way, I don't know if this was asked by one of our tenants, but asking them if it's too tight or not could be a way to do it, because who knows, she could have said it's too tight at first and then she wanted it to be a little looser.
I mean, maybe increasing the amount of attendance, because there's more than one person being fitted at a time.
Right.
So I feel maybe if you were to pay more attention, more attendance, two heads are better than one situation, and it's not like they need to be trained more to put these on because they have 10 years of experience. It's just that sometimes mistakes do happen, whether it's on the fault of the person putting it on or not. There has to be somebody there who catches these mistakes before they turn into something like this in the future.
Okay, so then it sounds like would you be willing to kind of up the caution from your employees to make sure that something like this?
Yeah, I mean, we can't have a lot of employees. I mean, if you're in a high school, who knows how many students there are.
Right.
So we can't have one person per student. We could have two, because, I mean, I'm assuming that when they're doing this, there's only two people at a time that go for the sumo wrestling matches
Right.
for Spirit Day. So we could have two experts there, one fitting one person, one fitting the other person.
Okay.
I feel also before they put them on, one person, one of the attendants can show the group how to properly put it on themselves, say well, this is how you put it on. They put it on themselves, they'll tighten it, and then they'll say how it should feel, and maybe they take it off and then just so that way they have a visual of how it should look like and an explanation of how it feels, along with the other attendants making sure they're doing it right.
Yeah, like an example.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
This is
Like
how
before.
everything should be.
Yeah, when they put it on. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so do you guys agree then that in the case of these events that you'll have I guess a demonstration on how to properly
Demonstration is the word you use, yes.
okay, so they'll demonstrate how to put the suits on properly.
And how they should fit. If they
and
should be
explain-
tight, if they should be tight or not tight.
Okay, and we'll explain how they should fit. And then You also said that, so there'll be 2 people going at a time, so you can have an expert for each.
For each student.
Okay, so you can have 2 experts on, working,
premises.
working to make sure that, everything is fitting right and,
Correct.
okay. And does that cover your, needs with that issue?
I guess it does, cause their equipment clearly works for many other cases, but clearly there was some sort of mistake that happened here, which should obviously be weeded out more, so I really can't ask for them to get better equipment, cause in most cases, this equipment is perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause like we said earlier, this is the first time it's ever happened. We've never had a problem with the equipment.
Right, okay.
So-
So do you guys, then you both agree to, the demonstration, explaining, and then having the 2 experts there?
Yeah, and also maybe they can check their equipment like before the events happen, like having an equipment check
Okay.
like before the events, because that's probably the most important time to have it checked out.
Okay, and do you guys do equipment checks, or are you willing to?
We'll do whatever it takes to not have to go through this again. So
Okay.
yes, we are. Because the last thing we want to do is for there to be another malfunction.
Right. Okay, so, then the equipment checks
Yeah.
agreed upon? Okay. So with the company safety issues, is there anything else that, we feel that we need to discuss?
No, I think that covers it.
That's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that should cover everything for the company safety, for our safety measurements.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, okay, and I would also like to add, if at any point, we feel like a recess is needed or a break is needed, we can do that as
Yeah.
well. So then, is there a second issue or the next issue that you guys would like to?
I'd say we instead, let's start with the smaller numbers
Yeah,
first.
medical. Yeah.
That's good, okay,
Okay.
medical costs.
Okay, so, I mean, the medical costs so far already totaled up to around this amount, so, like, this isn't really, like, us, like, wishful thinking it, this is us wanting these costs to be paid. Like, so, because these are fairly expensive, and this is something we need for our child, and it has come from the result of this issue.
As far as medical costs are concerned, I'm willing for our company to pay for not all of it since it did not happen on our property. Even though it was our equipment, it's still not on our property. So I'd be willing to go 600,000. And then have the school pay for the other 200,000.
The thing is, we can't get the school to like, I don't think you guys can get the school to agree to that, because we're the ones who are gonna have to argue with the school for 200,000, the other 200,000, unless you're willing to get your lawyers to help us in this situation. But other than that, that would just put us further in like years of arguing with the school and their insurance alongside your insurance, so.
That was gonna be actually my next point, was if they did sign a service agreement with us, or an insurance agreement, in case anything happened. Can we get a quick recess, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, so now that we've taken a short recess, I would just like to ask, are both parties still, willing to continue with mediation?
Yes.
Okay, so the issue that we were talking about was the medical costs. There's $800,000, currently in medical costs, and, you said that you would agree to pay some of those costs up to $600,000.
Correct.
Um,
In our original contract that the school signed, we had an agreement in the contract that if anything went wrong, because it's on their property, that they take care of 25% of any damages.
So you're saying you're still willing to go up to the total of 800,000 then? For
For the company, 600,000.
yeah, the company will be paying the 600, but since the
Yes.
school's covering the other 25%?
Since that is what the medical costs were, yes, we will pay the 600,000 for of what we owe, and then the school 200,000,
Okay.
which
Okay.
is about 25% of 800,000.
Okay.
Okay, so, so your company, or your insurance will pay for 600,000 of the 800,000.
Yes,
And then there is, an agreement in the contract that the school is liable for 25%. So then that would cover the other 200,000 that,
Oh.
so then that would come to the 800,000
Yeah.
for the medical.
correct. We would like to do a payment plan though for that $600,000.
Okay. What would that entitle? Because these are things that we've currently paid for. So would we be waiting long on this money, or would this be over a period of time? Because we would like this before we actually have to pay the bill itself.
When is the bill due?
The bill is due by the end of the 2 months from now.
We'll give you 300,000 each month, so that you will have it.
Okay. And then the school will pay us whenever.
The school
The
will pay
school's
you
insurance goes through.
whenever it
Okay.
goes through.
Okay.
So,
That's,
so then what I'm hearing from you guys is there's gonna be,
2 payments.
okay, 2 payments and 1 payment in November,
yeah.
right,
Yes,
of 300,000. And then another payment of 300,000 the following month.
correct.
Okay.
As long as Mrs.
Elizabeth,
is okay with that.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. And then, so then the issue with the school, their 200,000, I guess we'll have to work, or you'll have to work.
You'll have to
with-
work with the school
Yeah,
on that.
that we'll talk.
We
we'll
cannot
have-
control
Yeah,
what
we'll
the school
have the
does.
lawyers talk with their.
Okay, but you're satisfied with knowing that there is an agreement? that
Yes,
they
and
do-
that the total for these medical expenses will come through.
Okay,
I am happy with that.
okay, so then, alright, so what I have is $600,000 from the company. The other 200,000 is gonna come from the school, and that will be paid 300,000 each month before the end of the year when your bill is due.
Yes.
That's good. Okay. Then okay, so now we have the emotional damages caused to your daughter and your family, and also future medical costs and psychological costs and things like that.
Yes.
Is there an issue that you guys would like to?
Which
handle
one would
first?
you like to go with first?
Let's just go with how it's written. Let's go with emotional.
Okay. You wanna explain why, or what the, reasoning behind these emotional
Well,
damages is?
Because our child is now having the inability to communicate properly, which, you know, how high school is. Kids are ruthless and they're willing to make fun of things that aren't even in their control. And so she's lost friends because people are less willing to deal with her now. And she now demonstrates childlike behavior, which gets on the nerves of her teachers. And we have to try and help her with that, our whole family, not even just the mother, me, and the father. Her siblings have to help too, and around the house it could become a hassle. And she has anxiety issues too, which also would help go into the future costs also, but that's unrelated. So right now it's causing emotional damage to not only her because of the hardships she has to go through now, for people around her and her family, mainly us, because we have to also put in a lot of emotional investment into helping her live a life and try and help her go back to normal, even though it's probably not going to happen.
First of all, let me say again that I'm sorry what your daughter has gone through due to this, but at the same time, $2 million is a little excessive for emotional value. I mean, you're pretty much, to us, that seems, yeah, we feel bad that it happened, but in a way to us, that is also a get-rich-quick scheme that you guys are trying to pull with the emotional value.
I mean,
Okay, I feel like at this point, it would be a good time to take a caucus.
Yeah.
So I can discuss just with the parties one-on-one to get a better understanding of the issues. So would you mind stepping out of the room? I'll walk you out.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Bathrooms around the corner,
That way?
refreshments,
That way or that way?
both ways. Okay. So right now, the issues with the emotional damage is she's struggling with childlike behavior, anxiety. It's causing her trouble with classmates
and her teachers too.
and the teachers. And you are asking for $2 million.
I am willing to work that number itself down because they're clearly willing to pay for the medical issues so far. So, I mean, the 2 million was pretty much a number to get the talks rolling, obviously, because if we started low, they were going to say the same thing about any amount of money we
Right.
asked for. So the point of asking for 2 million for this was just so that they know that we wanted some sort of compensation and that they couldn't try swindling us down into a very low amount of money. Because this is serious for her, and
Right.
these issues, like, it's terrible for a child to go through this, especially it's such a huge change in the middle of her life.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So since he felt like the 2 million was pretty excessive, do you have a bottom line?
For a bottom line, I'm actually willing to go down to around 300,000 for this.
Okay.
But like I said before, the 2 million was pretty much just so he couldn't bring us down. Like, say if we started at like 500,000, he would want us to go down to 100,000. So
Right.
I felt that if we started high, it would be easier to get him to see that.
Okay. And again, I would just like to remind you that anything said
Yeah.
in here will remain confidential, unless you give me permission to.
No,
disclose it.
we can keep it confidential.
Okay. So you have your.
I mean, you can say that I am willing to work it for the price to go down, because that's the whole point. I would like to compromise as he did.
Right. Okay. So just so I have everything here, it was childlike behavior, the classmate and teacher issue,
Yes.
and anxiety.
Yes, but that's more so for therapy later, because the
So
anxiety.
those costs-
Yeah, the anxiety is probably more so with the will be dealt with therapy and future medical costs. But the anxiety still causes emotional distress. And,
Right.
And
Okay. Okay, so the information that I'm allowed to disclose then is that you are willing to work.
yes, and I'm willing to work down, and that I want to come to an agreement, and because it's for the best of both of us if we avoid tricky legal battle where
Right.
neither of us will come out on top, but someone will end up getting a bad image.
Right. Okay, were there any other issues that you'd like to discuss?
That pertains to the current thing.
We can talk
Yeah,
about.
we can caucus. I feel again because right now if that covers my thoughts on what about this emotional damage.
Okay. Then let me walk you out and I will grab Patrick. Adrian.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so after talking to Miss Elizabeth, her main concerns are, as we've discussed, was the issue that she's dealing with her daughter's childlike behavior, the classmates, she's struggling, I don't know, with people bullying or making fun of her, teachers are having a hard time getting through to her, and then she's also dealing with anxiety issues, and she has been. So she was asking for 2 million, but she did say that she'd be willing to work to try to come to an agreement.
Yeah, because I just feel, because she's also looking for $2 million in future costs.
Right.
So, in our eyes, it's literally, yeah, her daughter has emotional issues, but is that really worth $2 million?
Okay. Yeah.
It's not, I mean, and I hate to sound rude, but it's not like she passed away.
Mhm.
Everybody gets bullied. Even people that don't get injured get bullied.
Right.
You don't see them asking lawyers for $2 million in damages.
Right. Yeah, I understand. So then, with the 2 million, I mean, do you have an absolute highest number that you're willing?
$1 million, half of that.
Okay.
We'll go half. That's the lowest we'll go,
Okay.
and that's going to be over a period of time.
And then do you know?
I mean, because you look at it, our annual revenue is between 300 and 500,000 a year.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's 4 million. That's pretty much 8 years of revenue at top.
Right. All right. So then, I guess with your payment, would you? I mean, that would be coming strictly from from your revenue.
Right. I
Um,
mean,
do you know about the insurance or how that would work in the long run, or does it just cover?
no, insurance will cover some of it, but not like 200 or $2 million worth.
Right. I got you.
Not $2 million worth.
Okay, so right now your insurance is paying for $600,000
For medical, yes.
for the medical. Is there any other money coming from the insurance?
It covers up to $1 million.
Okay, so then so then the money for the future costs and the emotional cost,
That's
you only
total
have another
4 million,
you-
400,000.
Yeah, you only have another 400,000. So,
So in my eyes, I mean, we're pretty much gonna have to pay them the $1 million for emotional if they agree to it. I mean, that's our absolute top dollar.
right.
We're gonna have to do like almost 10 payments of $100,000 because we still need to run a business and be profitable.
Exactly.
We can't go underground because of this.
Okay.
And as I stated before, this is one out of how many kids that we've been doing business with for 10 years.
Exactly. So then, just to clarify, so is this 1 million? Is this going to be for both future costs and emotional damages?
We'll
or-
stick with emotional for now.
Okay,
When we get to future costs, we'll
but you would be
take
willing.
it up with him,
Okay.
with her.
Okay.
But it's gonna be like 10 years,
Right. So
for
what?
10 years, so 100,000 a year.
Right. So okay. So what we've covered so far is that your absolute highest you're willing to go is $1 million.
Yes.
There's another $400,000 coming from insurance to help with that,
Mhm.
and then you've also discussed the payment plan of around. I mean, none of this is final or set.
Right,
we're just,
right. 100,000 a
around
year.
$100,000
For 10
a
years.
year, and with that, your company would still be able to stay in business.
Make a profit and stay in business, yes.
Okay. Alright, so do you feel like that we've covered everything that you need to talk about
For emotional,
with this
for
issue?
emotional costs, yes.
Yeah, and like I told the other party, if necessary, we can take another caucus when the time comes to deal with future costs.
Okay.
But let's try to handle this issue first.
Concurred.
Alright, so are you, am I good to grab the other
Yes. We're in Miss Elizabeth. Feels good up there, doesn't it, Miss Elizabeth?
Okay, so, after talking to both of you, I feel like you guys are both willing to, try to negotiate and come to an agreement on how we can handle the emotional issues. Would you like to speak first about?
Well, I mean, I already threw out this is my initial number. Let's hear his. If you
You bring up that your daughter's getting bullied.
yeah.
You have guys out there that are bullying other kids every day. You don't see them asking for $2 million for emotional costs.
Yeah.
That gives other kids anxiety too. Granted, she got injured, and once again, we're sorry for that. But if you're gonna ask us for $2 million because of anxiety and bullying, you don't need to be injured for that to happen.
Yes, but in this situation, that bullying was caused by this injury. In other cases, the bullying happens due to unforeseen circumstances. In this one, this was actually started because of this injury that gave her all this anxiety and her inability to communicate with peers and with her childlike behavior too.
How do you know that those same kids aren't bullying somebody else that has not gone through what she's gone through? Do you know that for a fact?
They very well could be bullying somebody else. But the thing is that she is being bullied by people who she wasn't bullied by before because of these new problems. It has nothing to do with whether these kids are bullying anybody else. This isn't because bullying is a thing. This is because the bullying is happening due to a direct cause of this happening.
Alright, well, I'll put it this on the plate for you straight up. We're willing to give you guys $1 million throughout a long-term plan because for emotional costs, because of what I just said about other students do get bullied, other students have anxiety. Maybe you don't know if something happened to somebody else in an accident that they get bullied for. You don't know that. It could have been something that was not, that you don't know about why other kids get bullied. And we still need to make a profit, we can't go under. Our insurance only covers another $400,000. And we need to still stay a company and make profit. So the most we'll go with you for emotional costs is $1 million through a 10-year period. $100,000 a year.
So, okay, I understand what you're saying, but I feel as though the way you're trying to argue it is like dodging around the thing. Like, yes, people can be being bullied around the world for multiple different things, but that is not this case. In this case, specifically, it is happening due to this accident. It doesn't really matter if kids are getting bullied about other things. All that matters is that in this current state, this bullying is happening because of this accident. And your insurance will only cover $400,000 more upfront. So yeah, I'm willing for it to be over a long period of time, and that's not the issue. It's just that the way you're viewing this case specifically is that yes, it's a specific case, and this bullying, even though they are bullies for other people for other reasons, that this bullying is happening because of this. This bullying isn't just like some random like event. It's directly caused by this.
Okay, so,
We just don't believe that it's worth $2 million when you're asking for another $2 million for future costs, which is gonna happen.
Okay, no,
okay, so what I'm hearing right now is that you are a upset about how he is talking about the bullying issue and why it's happening. And I understand that that could be upsetting, but I guess we don't need to necessarily agree on that issue. It's more that we're trying to get to the money point. So with your initial is 2 million, and he came in with 1 million. Is the million something that we can agree on, or do we?
So you're saying that your insurance is only going to be able to pay for 400,000 more?
Yes, because of the $600,000 medical costs.
Yeah. So if you were to pay that out over longer, would your insurance be able to pay for more of that? Because in that case, this is like separate payments, not just one huge lump sum. Then.
Well, either way, we're still giving you $100,000 a year for $1 million.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't. I'm not even gonna get into that. With insurances, $1 million is gonna be our top offer. Otherwise, it's gonna be a stalemate, and we move on to future costs.
Okay.
So that might have to go to the court.
No. I'm okay. So I'm willing with the 1 million, but so would you be willing to pay that like? Not necessarily. Well, no, it's fine because your insurance is gonna have to pay for maybe other things. But so yeah, 1 million. I agree to that for the emotional.
And $100,000 a year.
Yes,
for 10 years.
$100,000 a year for 10
Okay.
years. That sounds good.
Okay, so we've come to an agreement on the total for the emotional damage at 100 million. Or
Yeah, 1 million.
1 million.
100.
I would not like to give you 100 million. We would definitely be out of business.
Okay, so $1 million. And the insurance, you have another 400,000 on your insurance. Would that,
The first 4 months will come from the insurance.
Okay.
okay, so it will be
Yes.
$100,000 for 10 months.
Yes.
Okay, and then the insurance is gonna cover those
That
first
is
4.
what Miss Elizabeth, as far as I know, is agreed to.
Is that,
That sounds reasonable to me.
okay,
Yeah, please ask for one more break before we get into the final issue.
yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Let's just take a quick recess and we'll come back in 5 minutes.
Okay.
We good?
Alright, so now that we've taken another recess, I just want to, ask one more time, are we willing to continue with mediation?
Yes.
And do you guys feel, good about how this mediation has been going
So far, it's been going fine.
No, yeah, absolutely. Million was a little steep, but okay.
Okay, so we just, I just wanna go over the agreement for the emotional costs. It was $1 million, that is gonna be paid for that over a period of time, $100,000 a month, and the insurance is gonna cover the first 4 months.
I thought it was $100,000 a year.
Yeah, it was 100,000 a year.
I meant a year.
Yeah.
Okay, $100,000 a year, and the insurance is gonna cover the first 4 years.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then let's move on to our final issue, and that's gonna be the future medical costs, or I guess any future related costs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Therapy, medical things.
Okay. Would you like to bring up your concerns and?
Yeah, okay, so currently what I'm concerned about is therapy and medical expenses can rack up fairly quickly, especially with something that has to do with the brain, where you have to go into the doctors a lot to actually fix the issue. And so that if these future things occur, we want to know that we have like money to pay for it, because we're just a normal suburban family. We don't have a lot of money here. So we're just worried about the future, and we want our kid to be able to get the proper medical care that they deserve.
Okay, so is this so these future costs are covering like doctor's appointments?
Yeah, doctor's appointments and therapy if
Therapy.
it comes to it.
And then is there like procedures or different, I don't know, medical procedures that she is gonna need done, or is it kind of just checkup?
I feel as though it's probably gonna be up to the doctors what procedures need to be done, because we don't know yet what needs to be done, so it'll be up to the doctors, and if her emotional state worsens, we're gonna need to send her to therapy. And so that's why we're gonna ask for some, not only for the, future medical costs, also for future therapy issues that she needs. Maybe she'll need to go to physical therapy or something like that.
Okay, so then, just to recap this, so your concerns, with the cost are the, doctor's appointments, checkups and things like
Checkups.
that, therapy?
Yeah, and future surgeries if she needs them.
Okay, and then future medical procedures and
Yes.
things like that. Okay, and you are still asking for 2 million?
Yes. But at this point, I am willing to work that down because you have been fair enough to compromise with us.
Okay, would you like to,
First of all, the $1 million you're getting from us, you guys should be able to cover all doctor's appointments and the $800,000 for medical. So I don't feel we should have to pay for your doctor appointments. Wow, when it comes to procedures, that's a different story. But just for checkups, you'll have the money for it
Well,
for her to get a checkup.
the thing is that the 800,000 that's coming from the school and that's covering, like, what's that covering? It's covering what we've already had, like bills that's already
No,
paid.
that's
So,
I didn't mean to say that.
yeah, so checkups and stuff, that's gonna be future checkups, future procedures, and everything like that. That's currently
But what's your insurance policy like for your medical insurance? Because that should be able to cover checkups.
Yeah, it probably will be able to cover checkups, but our insurance will go up, and clearly that would make it harder for us to sustain our own way of living, so.
We've also got $100,000 extra for 10 years, every year coming in.
okay, so,
So pretty much, I'm okay with therapy, I'm okay with medical procedures.
So then what are you?
It's the checkups, I'm not willing to pay for you guys to do checkups when you're making now, and I don't know what your family income is now, but you're adding $100,000 a year for 10 years. You guys should be able to pay for it.
So then what are you willing then? Like
I'm willing to do 1.5 million for therapy and medical procedures.
1.5 million? So is that going to be up, how are you gonna pay that? Like upfront?
You let us, you give us a doctor's note or a doctor's receipt with the therapy and with the procedure, and we'll pay that.
Okay. So, I mean,
Up to 1.5 million though.
up to 1.5 million?
So we will keep it recorded, and I'm sure you will too, for how much, just so that there's no confusion and we don't get any lawyers involved in this.
so, just to get this straight, so then it's not 1.5 million guaranteed money, it's the,
Future medical
the
costs
costs, so-
and therapy sessions.
okay, so the bills,
We need proof from the doctor before we pay them
okay.
to do that.
Alright, so then,
So pretty much what we're doing is we're paying them, we're paying the doctors.
okay, I got you.
So you're saying you're not willing, our insurance will be the ones to handle checkups,
Yes,
but you are willing, if any procedures like a surgery or physical therapy or emotional therapy, you are going to be willing to cover that up
Up to-
to $1.5 million.
yes.
That is a very reasonable number, I feel. And
But like I said, let's just make this clear, Miss Elizabeth, that we will pay the doctors directly when you give us the bill.
Yeah, you will get the
So
bill.
we're not giving you the 1.5 million.
Yeah, we never wanted to.
We'll
this is for,
give it to you.
Yeah.
We give it to the doctors directly.
Okay,
Okay, so I feel like the agreement that you guys have made is that it's going to be up to, the payments up to 1.5 million.
Yes.
Okay, we both agree
Yes.
on that.
So 1.5 million, and if they're at 1.42 million, and you go over by whatever thousand, by $10,000, we'll pay that. It's once it hits, does that make sense?
Yes.
So if say they're at 1.25 million, so they have $25,000 left.
Yeah.
If it's $30,000, we'll pay the extra $5,000.
Okay.
But
so,
once the 1.5 million's up, you're done.
Yeah. Okay.
God, that sounds so rude. I'm sorry. It does.
Okay, so, and then we've agreed that these bills are gonna come directly, or you'll send
Yeah,
them the
the
bills and
doctors
they'll
will
get
send
paid.
the bills.
Doctors
the
will send us
doctor
the bills and we will pay them.
Yes.
Hopefully our insurance will be back up to par.
Yeah, that was my next question. Is this, these payments, are these gonna be coming,
It all depends on if we have the money for the insurance. This happened in October. Our insurance for the year is gonna be up soon due to the payments.
right,
So the insurance might not be there, so might be coming out of our pocket. See
okay,
what I'm saying?
yeah, and is that something that you guys will be able to handle?
As long as we keep our revenue coming in and this does not go on the news,
We promise not to
does
send
not come
any,
out,
yeah.
no Facebook or nothing.
Yeah, we promise that we won't slander your reputation in any way.
Okay, and then we did, just to make this clear, the doctor's appointments, what did we come to?
The checkups, I mean,
That's on their
Yeah,
insurance.
those probably be on
Right.
our-
You were gonna, okay,
I mean, if you guys have a $10 copay, you're making another $100,000 per year, you can handle a $10 copay.
Right.
yeah.
okay, so the doctor appointments will be covered by you or your
Yes,
insurance?
yeah.
Um. I feel like that, covers all the future costs. Is there anything else that you guys, would like to bring up?
It's just that we wish you guys the best of luck and we're sorry that our equipment unfortunately
Yeah.
malfunctioned this one time on your daughter, and we will try to make sure, no, not try, we will make sure that this doesn't happen again to anybody else,
Yeah.
so you don't have to go through this again.
I'd like to thank you for your willingness to settle this debate.
Okay, so future cost set up, everything, you guys are comfortable with the emotion, or let me go over the agreements that we've made real quick. For the safety, we agreed upon demonstrating the suits, by experts and explaining how they should fit. Also that 2 experts, will be there to help the people get into the suits, or help them make sure that they're fit right. And then also equipment checks will be done, before these suits are used. Is that,
Yes.
okay. And then the medical costs, $600,000 coming directly from the company. And that was $300,000 each month, for November and December, so that you can pay your bill by the end of the year. And then you are going to work with the school to figure out the other 200,000. Or the school is actually liable for
Yeah,
25%.
the school is liable.
So you'll figure out how the payment's gonna work out, but
Yes.
there is 200,000 for you. Okay, and then emotional issues. We came to the agreement of $1 million, 100,000 per year, and the insurance is gonna pay,
The first 4 years.
for the first 4 years. Correct?
Yes,
You're
sir.
good? Alright, and then finally, the future cost. You're willing to pay up to 1.5 million for the therapy and medical procedures as they come. and you'll be paying the bills to the doctors or the therapist directly.
Correct.
And you or your insurance will be covering appointments
Yeah.
and checkups. Okay. Does that cover? Are there any outstanding issues that we'd like to talk about?
No,
No,
we're
sir.
good.
All right. If I just have you guys sign this agreement. All right. I'd like to thank you guys for participating in this mediation today and for being respectful. I feel as though we came to a reasonable agreement for both parties. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.